What is up, everybody? I'm here with kind of another damage comparison test kind of thing. It's kind of like what I did with Blade of Justice and Divine Hammers, but this time I'm going to be going over Templar's Verdict and Divine Storm. So just let me get my sheet up here real quick. Okay, so what I'm going to be going over is I'm going to be going over the judgment damage. I mean, the damage it does with the judgment debuff and the damage it does without the judgment debuff. Only for Divine Storm, because Divine Storm is the only one that's going to be pretty much possible for you to hit them without the judgment debuff. Because pretty much whenever you use Templar's Verdict, it's going to be on the target that you are hitting. So obviously you're going to have the judgment debuff on them since it's just part of your basic rotation. So I'm pretty much going to be going over that, then talking about the instances where you use each of them and stuff like that. So yeah, starting with Divine Storm, without the Judgment debuff, it hits for 200k normal, 400k crits, and procs for 20k and 40k crits. And when I say proc, I'm talking about the Echo of the High Lord from your artifact weapon. Ends up doing like a 10% of the damage that you did, but it also has the chance of critting. So yeah, so it does about 220k to 440k each use single target. And then with Judgment, it does 260k with 25k procs, or with crits, it's 520k to 50k procs. So it ends up doing 285k to 570k damage per use. And obviously, you're not going to be using Divine Storm unless it's hitting multiple targets generally. So it's going to end up being like, well, I mean, but the only thing is, sometimes when you're using Divine Storm to hit multiple targets, the secondary targets do not have the judgment debuff on them. So I'd say it would be, I guess, 500k DPS to 500k DPS damage to 1.14 mil if you're hitting 2 targets. So yeah, going to Divine Storm. I'm ignoring this top part because that's just without the judgment debuff. But with the judgment debuff, you do 840k crits with 84k procs, and 420k normal hits with 42k procs. So it ends up doing 462k to 920k damage per hit. Now, obviously, the numbers aren't going to be 100% what they would be in Arena because I'm just hitting the training dummy. Training dummy has set armor and versatility and stuff. Actually, I don't even know if it has versatility. I'm not really sure. Haven't tested or anything like that. So you're not going to be hitting, I guess, that big most of the time in arenas. So yeah, just to let you know. Okay, so Divine Storm does 462k to 920k compared to the 500k to 1.14 million from Divine Storm. And this is only for hitting 2 targets. So obviously, Templar's Verdict does about 80% more damage single target than Divine Storm does, but Divine Storm does about 10 to 20% more damage if it's hitting 2 targets, or obviously way more if it's hitting more than 2. So pretty much, you use Templar's Verdict whenever you're just trying to single target a guy, or if you're trying not to break CC, or if a target is alone and Divine Storm's not going to be able to hit them, then you use Templar's Verdict. But for then you use Divine Storm pretty much every other time. If there's 2 targets stacked, use Divine Storm. More than 2 targets stacked, obviously use Divine Storm. If you're just trying to cleave a team, or you're trying to just do as much damage as you can to a target, or maybe your goal is to swap around a bunch, like on defensive, so use Divine Storm to make sure that everyone is low rather than just the target that you're focusing at the time. Use Divine Storm. Also, if you're trying to just chase down a target and they're suddenly out of range, you can use Divine Storm because the projectile ends up going, how far does it end up going? 20 yards. So it has a 20-yard range compared to the melee range Templar's Verdict. So yeah, pretty much Templar's Verdict, use it in single target instances, or if you're not trying to not break CC, or if the target is alone and not going to be able to hit with Divine Storm, use Templars Verdict. But then every other instance, use Divine Storm. I hope this helped out a bit. Peace.